Hello, hip hop heads here. Anyway,
See, now we should probably start the show. See, everything you heard before was probably a warm-up. I got thousands of songs we could do. I could be here till 5 o'clock in the fucking morning. Don't give a fuck. Just like, you know, like crazy. So that real hip-hop is over.
What up guys, it's HipHoppas here, and this is the first official video of 2015. Technically, I did record the end of the year videos after 2014, but this is the first review of 2015. We're doing Joey Bada's Before the Money. And sorry if I sound really tired, I didn't get a lot of sleep, so I'll try and be as energetic as I can, but I'm barely staying awake here. So yeah, this is Joey Bada. This is like official debut release. He had, I think it was like 3 projects before this. He had the 1999 mixtape that came out, and that's the one that really kind of blew him up. After that, the Rejects, I guess it was those were tracks that didn't make it onto 1999. And then Summer Nights came out. And these are all mixtapes. The 1991 project really blew me away. That's the first one that I listened to and I was like, okay, this guy's actually pretty dope. Rejects was okay. And then Summer Nights, I wasn't too hot on that mixtape. I don't think a lot of people were. It wasn't the best. It kind of just stayed there for me. It didn't really blow me away. But yeah, Joey Bada is young as fuck. He's like 19, from Brooklyn. He's with the whole Beast Coast movement and pro era, obviously. And there's been a lot of hype around this guy. He brings some sort of nostalgia for the 90s New York era. And that's the first thing that I noticed when I listen to him. And I hate to always like put him in that category because I know a lot of people put him in that category. But I remember the first time I listened to it, it was Big Dusty, and I was like, which means I got into this dude very recently. I was like, yo, this reminds me of some 90s shit. And it's not a bad thing, it's just that's the first thing that I connected to. I'll put my iPod on shuffle, and if I don't know the song, I'll be like, and I'll first hear the instrumental, I'm like, oh, cool. What is this, like some Smith & Wesson that I'm playing? And then I hear Joey's voice coming out, I'm like, oh shit, it's Joey Bada. So it's the production and the sound and everything that really, like, I guess reminds me of the New York 90s sound. And like his flow is kind of like offsetting, but it's in the pocket, so it works. And his flow is pretty unique, I'll give him that, but it's dope, and I like how he does it. He's one of my favorite MCs out right now. I really wanted this album to like capture the feeling of the grind. The producers on this thing were Static Selecta, he's worked with him previously. DJ Premier worked with him previously. Lee Bannon, The Roots, Jay Dilla, Hit Boy, longtime affiliate Chuck Strangers and Kirk Knight, and the list goes on and on and on. I'll probably put it somewhere here. First impressions was like a 7 for me. I enjoyed it first time I listened to it. I just felt it was like a solid Joey album, but I didn't feel like he really went too far out there. I didn't feel like he made huge progressions. I was like, okay, this just sounds like a more focused Joey Bada. Just felt really solid. It wasn't until like the 3rd time I listened to it that I was like, okay, it really started to grow on me. I really saw the steps that Joey took forward after listening to it multiple times. I love the beginning of the album though. It was a great way to start the album. Save the Children. I had heard the same sample off of Shad's The Old Prince, I Don't Really Like To. If you guys don't know that track, check it out. I loved the sample when I first heard it. It's from Azar Lawrence's People Moving, and I love that sample, so I love that he redid the beat. Obviously, you know, Static's really good at sampling jazz. The first track was just Joey straight spitting, like just dope wordplay that Joey always does. And I ain't acting on the scene, niggas scream, the actions ain't screened, just was schemed. I'm trying to have wealth for my well-being. By 18 pockets, healthy green. What the fuck is 12 beams? Like, he just kicked it off the perfect way, and I really like the beginning track. 3 Paper Trails. You know, I'm skipping the little interlude, the green box or whatever. This is the Primo produced track. I was a little bit disappointed in the production. I know Primo could have brought, you know, like a super layered beat, but Joey's production isn't really like that. So it makes sense why Primo didn't make this like super crazy beat. The production was fine though. It kind of felt like something off of The Moment of Truth or something like that. This track was just a mix of like battle rhymes with Joey's, I guess the more overall theme of how like only being motivated by money ruins the country and music in general. I guess that's just what I got from it. But at the end of the day, you still need it. And Joey's flow was amazing on the track. And again, he was being really lyrical with a purpose. Peace of Mind, the production by Freddie Joe King. The production was the first thing that caught my attention off that track. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it sounded like something off, it sounded like I guess a rendition of Waves. Off his 1999. Just the guitar sounded a lot like the Waves guitar, but the drums were sick. Reminded me of some like Black Moon shit. Like I just love how loud and I guess dusty they sounded. And I like the concept of the track where he's just reflecting of his success, but also making a track for his friend in jail. You know, that's not a new concept. Obviously, Nas did it back in Nomadic. And I'm sure someone did it before that, but it was well done, I thought. Big Dusty, ooh. Okay, this track, man. And it's been out for a while, and again, I said this was the first track that I heard Joey off of. And I was like, wow. And when I first heard it, I was like, okay, it's cool. Because, you know, I was still trying to get a feel for it. But once I heard in its entirety of the whole album, it blew me away. Because the beginning of the album was just so chill and vibey, I guess. And then that track comes in, it's like, oh shit, just Joey sounds so fucking grimy, like so unapologetic, like I'm coming here to fuck shit up. He snapped on the track, and I love the production by Kirk Knight. It just worked perfectly with the track. It's probably my top, I'd say like top 3 tracks on the album. Nothing defeats the beast, I speak my piece. No niggas in the streets that heat seek for me, release and squeeze. Might put a Halloween between your spleen, retreat or trickle down to your last pound of green, know what I mean? He took that multi-syllable flow and really perfected it on this album. I thought he made really big steps as far as his flow and I guess tighten it down, because you know Joey does the multi-syllables, the puns, but I think he did it was some of his best wordplay on this album in my opinion. Then the middle of the album was my favorite section of the album. It was like 5 straight dope ass tracks in a row. This section really exemplifies Joey's ability as an MC, because it's very diverse. Track 7, Like Me, that was, I knew Joey, he was talking about, because I watched a couple of the interviews, he was talking about how he had a Dilla produced track, and I was like, what? So the whole time I was in the album, I'm just waiting for the Dilla beat, and then I heard it, I was like, this is the motherfucking Dilla beat. Those simple drums and the bass lines, unmistakable. I was like, okay, this is the Dilla beat, and it was so smooth. Like really well done, because I was a little bit scared for this track. I knew I was gonna like the production, but I was like, Joey he might sound like he's putting me to sleep, but he didn't, and it just sounded really smooth. And BG, the Chicago kid, really compliments the track. I've liked a lot of the features that he's been on. I like the Shame track that he did on Mad Libs and Freddie Gibbs, and I don't know, he kind of reminds me of how I don't mean to compare these two because their voices and their style is really different, but kind of like D'Angelo, where D'Angelo would really complement hip-hop tracks, especially Dilla beats and stuff like that. And BJ, the Chicago kid, kind of reminded me of that, especially like the high-pitched background vocals on the track really reminded me of that. I guess the beat change at the end where the bass line sounded a lot louder was dope. I wish the whole track would have sounded like that, I guess towards like the end of the track. But this is where Joey's showing a lot of growth just songwriting wise. He's a talented lyricist, and Joey could just go in there and spit bars like, oh, this, that, wordplay. But Joey decided to step up his songwriting. The hook was awesome. He had a great balance of lyrics and the bridge. Like the song as a whole was really well done. And this is where Joey's able to go and make really smooth ass tracks. But then again, the track right after is where Joey's able to flip it. Like he's able to switch a gear like that. Belly of the Beast, one of my favorite tracks on here as well. And this was like his homage to his West Indies heritage. His parents being, I think they're Jamaican, I'm not sure. But the production was fucking dope as shit, man. Good job, Hit Boy, that was crazy. I was like, yo, this is nice, right? But then the background vocals, the bum da ding a ding a ding, whatever. I was like, yes, this is. It just had a complete Jamaican feel to it. Like a complete reggae feel to it, and I love that shit. This Joey, I guess he really went Jamaican on this because Joey started pronouncing, you know, his T's and his D's really hard. I guess the pronunciation, because he has that Jamaican sound in him a little bit, at least I think so. Just the way he pronounces words, and it really shined on this track, especially towards the end of the like the last verse. It only made sense that he brought in a reggae artist too, with Chronixx, and Chronixx fulfilled the role pretty well. Number 99. This was the track sampling The Scenario, again, one of the singles that came out of the album. At first I was like, the instrumental didn't hit me as hard as it should have, I guess. Because I was like, oh, okay, dope. It's a Scenario sample, I guess a remake of the beat. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But it just never blew me away, I guess. I don't know, it's just a technical thing. I guess I wish the drums were louder. Because you know, on this original Scenario track, and again, the Scenario track, greatest posse cut possibly ever. So you're trying to, I guess, if you're gonna rap over a beat like that, I guess you're holding it up to that standard. But I really wish the drums were just a little bit louder, because you know, it's supposed to be like your wild out shit, your wild out track. And I didn't really feel it. Kind of just felt compressed. Like the mixing of the track just kind of felt like the drums, the percussion overall were kind of compressed. That's just a technical thing though. But that can just be EQ'd if anything. But the beat did grow on me, but it was the fucking lyrics that really hit me hard, because Joey was just going in on the cops, and I guess that's the popular thing to do right now. Fuck it, it's open season on the cops. I don't care. I like this shit, but I like how he did it, because he did it like a 90s New York artist would. Were super unapologetic, fuck the police, you know. And I mean, Joey didn't really outright say that. He kind of just, I mean, he was critical of it, but I guess in his own way. But I love the lyrics on the track. And then after that, Christ Conscious. Probably this one's battling with Curry Chicken as far as my favorite track on the album. Again, dope ass production. Joey got really, really good production on this album. I have this one on replay so much, and I know this, again, this one came out as one of the singles, but I refused to hear it when it came out. I was like, no, I just want to hear it in the album. And when I heard it on the album, I was like, yes, this is fucking dope. Punchline after punchline after punchline. And obviously some of them weren't as serious as the others, but it was still dope. This was like the You Lose, I guess, of the album, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you know, off of Prime, because it was short. It was like 2:25. I did wish the track was like 3-4 minutes, because that beat was fire. Because he had other tracks where he just went in, but I wish he did it on this beat, because this beat was just, it was insane. That, again, I'm nitpicking, but it was just it was a dope track. On and on. I love the singing by Maverick Sabre, I think. Smooth production, and it starts off slow with the dramatic pianos. And when it comes to dramatic pianos, I think it sometimes sounds a little bit too cliche, so I was like, oh, here comes the sad track of the album. But no, the pianos kind of felt soulful more than anything. It wasn't like your sad, dramatic pianos, where it kind of feels like it's forcing an emotion on you. This one felt just well done. And then the singing, the synths, and the drums came all, and it was just, the beat was really crafted well. And Joey was being really introspective on this track as well. Like, he was talking about like his fallibility as a human, and then overcoming that, to, you know, the death of Steez, and him wanting to be remembered, and his legacy living on, sort of how, you know, Steez has. The feature was Dyemond Lewis. I know that's like an in-house feature. And I thought the feature was pretty cool, but it was nothing crazy. I love the line about Steez being with Big Papa, Tupac's, and a Big L rolled, and that's a big pun or whatever. 14, OCB, another introspective track. And Joey played it pretty safe as far as the introspective tracks. They felt genuine. It definitely shined a light a little bit more into who Joey was. He is still playing a little bit safe as far as the subject matter and being introspective. But I mean, it's done well. And again, this is his debut album, so it's good to see that he at least included that. And I like the track. I was talking about how Joey felt like no one really cared about what Joey had to say until he became famous, and this was kind of his like vent track. Obviously, Only Child Blues, talking about no one else would hear me. But I love the strings. Like, I guess the piano is technically a string, but the strings on the production were dope. The sax at the end was awesome. Felt very blues, hence the name of the track. But this one, again, I did feel a little bit safe. And I love the line about a college only being out for a nickel, or his mom finding his stash by his pen and pad or whatever. Joey telling his story, and I like tracks like this because I can listen to Joey just go in and lyrically kill, but I do enjoy these tracks in the middle, and I like how he sequenced the album. Or a good fluctuation of pace, I thought, because it kind of felt, it put you on the heels. It wasn't like this is the smooth section, this is the aggressive section. It was just, I guess, layered out really well. And then the last track on the official was Curry Chicken. Again, Static brings that production. Love Static, so I like that production. I love the scratches on it. It was kind of felt like a DJ Premier, like the scratches on the hook. But the drums just kind of had like that bounce to it, because again, Static, smooth production, but it kind of had that bounce to it. Love the drums on there, like happy, optimistic track. It felt nice. It was just a really nice feel overall, the song. This was Joey just reflecting on his mom working hard and then him trying to pay back, and him just wanting some curry chicken. This is his, I guess, trying to be relatable and reflective and genuine, and it was really good production choice by Joey. This was different than what Joey usually does, so another good step forward for Joey. You know what, I did like the bonus tracks. Run Up On Ya, I really like for the production, because it just felt really old Western. The bass on the track was awesome, but the lyrics itself were okay. And then the Action Bronson feature, I was like, yeah, you know, I'm not too big of an Action Bronson fan anyway, so I wasn't expecting. God damn it, the camera died while I was recording. Teach Me, this is totally different than what Joey does regularly. You could take it as this is Joey's, I guess, his attempt or his mainstream track, because you know there's a lot of, you know, like I guess their albums, you're like, okay, that's his mainstream track, and I guess usually it's like that throwaway track. But this one felt okay. It didn't. You can take it as Joey's mainstream attempt or mainstream track that at least get some radio play, and he's definitely getting radio play, which is fine. I'm not saying that's bad, but I took it more as Joey trying new sounds and I guess trying different tempos. It did have that sort of vibe and bounce to it, so I was like, okay, it's cool. It just felt like a cool track, but it's not one of those tracks where I'm going back to constantly, because this isn't really what I look for in Joey Badass. When I listen to Joey Badass, I'm just looking for lyrical, grimy, or some smooth tracks. Other than that, tracks like this, it's like, oh, okay, I understand it. Joey's trying to do different things, so I can appreciate it. Tracks that I was just kind of neutral with. Again, these aren't bad tracks, but it's just me personally. I didn't really like the overall execution of it. I know I'm gonna get shit for this, but whatever. Jesus View. The hook was okay. Then, you know, see you through my Jesus. So like, okay, it's fine. And I was liking the delivery, the flow, the lyrics, but sometimes, and I don't know if it's just me, but it kind of feels like Joey's yelling at you, or at least at me. Like, it just sounds like he's screaming at you. Other times it seems like, okay, Joey's in his mode and he's going in. But this track kind of felt like Joey's screaming at me, and it was just kind of offsetting. So I was like, I don't really like this track. So this track, that Jesus View does generally get skipped when I put it on rotation. Escape 120, I wasn't really feeling the pace of the drums. It kind of felt like some, you know, EDM drum and bass track. Again, Joey trying different tempos and paces, but this one didn't feel as well executed as I guess Teach Me did. I know they're different sounds, but I wasn't really feeling this track, and the feature was, again, it was okay, but nothing on that track really did anything for me. But I can respect Joey trying different things. That track, I didn't really like it though. Black Beatles wasn't a bad concept, wasn't a bad track. It was smooth and it was introspective again, but I just felt like I heard it before. It didn't have that sort of feel as I guess OCB did. I just wasn't really too hard on Black Beatles. I mean, but other than that, man, the album itself it's exceptional. Great way to start out 2015. Joey definitely seems to be growing his ear as far as production wise. He's picking better production and he's getting better producers on there. Static Selector brought the production on there as well. Some of the in-house producers were really good as well, like Chuck Strangers and Kirk Knight. But I liked the other productions, like, you know, the J Dilla, the Roots joint, or the Joaquin joint, and then I don't know. I just really like the production overall on this one. I thought it was just really, consistently well done, and Joey brought it. He matched the beats as well. Like, it's not just your classic boom bap Joey that you hear before, and I do like that Joey, but I like this one. He seems to be growing just sound wise, and I really like the sound of the album overall. It's just the production seemed a little bit like just more layered than previous albums. And Joey just seemed to be more focused on this album as well. He really holstered down on the idea that this is, I'm trying to create the mood and the feeling of before you get the money, before you make it. And I was like, okay, let's see what you do with this concept. And it wasn't like a concept album, but you know, I guess sort of overall theme. And I thought it was done really well. It seemed really focused. The subject matter fit the project. There wasn't a track where I was like, why would you put that in there? They all fit the concept of the album. And Joey, I think in my opinion, has some of the best wordplay on this album that he's done in previous projects. I thought like there were quotables to the end of time on this album. Really did step up on that and really tighten the flow as well. Again, he's doing better with the multi-syllable flow. He did show a fair amount of versatility as well. You have tracks like, you know, your classic Joey. It showed again a fair amount of versatility because you have your classic Joey like Peace of Mind, but then you have different Joey or smooth Joey or introspective Joey. And again, a lot of versatility on this album. I really like that. Some of the subject matter was a little bit safe in my opinion, but this is just his debut album, so I'm not expecting him to be tapping these concepts and all this and that and the other. It was just well done. I was like, okay, Joey, that was a good angle to approach that song. But overall, it was Joey doing Joey. Didn't feel like he stepped out of his box. Again, I do like what Joey does already. I was expecting a couple tracks where I was like, oh, what is this? But then when it all comes together, I was like, oh, it's super dope. I didn't really get that. The tracks that I did go, oh, what is this? There was like, oh, okay, it was pretty cool. But there wasn't a track where I was like, oh, Joey's, I had never done this before, but I really like it. The tracks that he never really done before, I was like, okay, it sounds okay. So it did have an overall feeling of sameness, but it was good. Again, debut album, it was really solid, but it did have a little bit of underlying feeling of just sameness. Just like, okay, this is just Joey doing. Overall, it was like an 8 for me, maybe an 8.5 on some days, but you know, who the fuck really cares as far as the numbers. There was a lot of replay value on this album. That's important for me, so I really did like that. And there's a lot of tracks that I like, such as Big Dusty, Save the Children, Like Me, Belly the Beast Strikes Conscious, and Curry Chicken. Those are the tracks that I constantly play. Everything else was just solid tracks. Nothing was horrible, nothing stuck out like a sore thumb. Everything just felt solid or peaks. It was like, okay, really good track, okay, solid track. Really good track, okay, really good track, solid track. The singing features did their job, good job. The rapping features, wasn't really feeling the rapping features on there. Joey does seem to be growing every time I hear him though, either on features or this project itself. That's good to see that Joey's growing and doing different things. He's not just sticking to the same formula. Support Joey, dope album, his best so far. Make sure to follow the Twitter, Instagram, like, comment, subscribe, so I see that you guys actually like what I'm doing. This is the Joey Bada's Before the Money review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tetsuo and Youth album review coming soon. I'm gonna do it as soon as I finish recording this, so expect that. I have so much shit to say on that, man. But yeah.